When people saw the marketing for Strange World, when people started hearing what this was going to be about, it was undoubtedly going to be a flop. Everybody could tell that. But just how bad it would be, that was really the question. And the more people learned about this movie, the more people realized likely no one was going to actually go out to see it, especially not any families. When you realize that all it is, this animated movie, this cartoon that's targeted towards children, it's just a bunch of propaganda geared to shove it down their throats. And families, especially families who used to consume Disney, who used to trust Disney, who used to think that Disney was something you could just put in front of your kids and not have a problem with it, they have now realized that is absolutely not the case. And now this movie that involves a gay teenage romance, this movie that is a big environmental propaganda movie shoved down people's throats, it's failing so hard at the box office that even everybody in the mainstream media is calling it out. Disney's Strange World to lose $100 million in its theatrical run. And that, my friends, is going easy on it. That is a positive estimate for how much this might lose. Here's Deadline. Strange World to lose $147 million. Why theatrical was best decision for Doomed Toon, not Disney Plus. And that, of course, going into the whole Bob Iger, Bob Chapek thing. But right now, let's look at these numbers. Disney's Strange World bombed at the box office over Thanksgiving, leaving the studio to mop up oceans, mountains, and terrains of red ink. The animated feature debuted dramatically behind expectations, with 11.9 million from all these different theaters over the weekend and 18.6 over the 5-day holiday. The projections for this movie were between $30 and $40 million in that same period. It got less than half of what was expected. And that in and of itself was going to be a disaster. Look at these movies, right? Remember Lightyear? Remember this flop? This was a disaster, an unmitigated disaster. That's what Lightyear was. Only made $218 million worldwide. And it cost $200 just to make the movie, which means it needed 500, maybe even more than that, million just to break even. What did this get? Open in the box office? Let's go back. $50 million. Had a big fall off too, but $50 million. That was its opening weekend box office. What about Encanto? That only made $230 million worldwide. What was that opening box office? $27 million. What is it for Strange World for that 3-day number? Like they said, 11.9. This is a movie that might not hit $100 million globally at the box office in its run. That's actually what we're talking about right now. And if that's the case, we're not talking about a $100 million loss. We're not talking about a $145 million loss. We're talking over $200 million easily for a movie with a $180 million production budget, not to mention advertising, not to mention box office split, not to mention all these other things. That is a complete disaster for them. But this is what so many of the woke activists want. I saw Brianna Wu the other day. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Brianna Wu, you're the lucky ones. Some of us know exactly who this person is. But this person, going to be very careful with pronouns here, this person decided they were going to put this tweet out. And this perfectly encapsulates how, or the reason why a movie like this absolutely fails. If you thought conservatives freaked out over Lightyear, they're going to shit the bed over Strange World, which is great. Main protagonist is gay. Older people don't find it remarkable. Biracial marriage. Almost no one is white. Climate change metaphor. Even the dog is disabled. When you have activists, when you have insane people like Brianna Wu saying that it is great that a bunch of conservative families are going to be pissed off over something, the problem is that this should be your target demographic. It should be an older audience who has children that's going to take their children to see this movie. Spoiler alert, people like Brianna Wu do not have children. People like Brianna Wu should probably stay away from children. These activists do not have children. They are not the target demographic. But what Disney has done over and over and over again by shoving identity politics down everyone's throat, it's completely pushed away that target audience. When you decide, people like Bob Chapek, I know some people out there thought that Bob Chapek was anti-woke. This is the guy who led Disney on a crusade against the state of Florida, going to war with the state of Florida for the right to sexualize kindergartners. Think about that for a minute. And after Disney did that, that's when a lot of families started pushing back against this. When they saw just how evil Disney truly is, That's when they made the decision. You know what? We've been a Disney family for a long, long time. No longer. We just can't support this. And now it is destroying them, absolutely destroying them in the box office. A $12 million opening for Strange World, an 18.9 Thanksgiving weekend opening. That is a terrible, horrific number. A Disney movie, a Disney family animated movie over the Thanksgiving weekend, that should have been doing huge numbers. But no, they have pushed away their audience by focusing on identity politics and woke propaganda instead of actual entertainment. And Disney is getting everything they fucking deserve.
Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.